Hello, ladies and gents. Please like, comment, subscribe. Romie Reviews here. Again, please like, comment, subscribe. This is my recap for How to Get Away with Murder, Season 5, Episode 12. The episode is entitled, We Know Everything. Now, this has been my favorite episode of the season so far because, to me, there was a lot going on. And that's my favorite thing with this show, when there's so much going on that it's hard for me to keep up. So I'm sure I'll miss a couple of things. You'll let me know the things I missed. And I have a new ASMR video up on my other channel, Romie Whispers ASMR. The links are below in the more info box, and something should be popping up to left or right of the screen towards the top. It's another roleplay video. And now we're getting into the beginning of this episode, where Annalise is talking to the remaining Keating 5, and they're concerned. They're concerned about Gabriel. They're concerned about, how do we know we can trust Gabriel? Why are you so trusting of Gabriel? What are you thinking, Annalise? And Annalise's whole thing is, I'm the smart one here. You're all the dummies that keep going and doing stuff on your own and messing up everything, so I'm going to go and handle this myself. This is Gabriel's story. Gabriel's story is essentially that he did not answer any questions about his father, about Miller, because he does let Annalise know that, Miller did tell him after he started to go to school there, Miller contacted him and said, hey, I want to go and look into Annalise regarding the death of your father. Can you find out whatever you can? Just report back. He also says that he only talked to Miller a couple of times, and Miller was the one who called him and asked for information. So I said, okay, if that's the story we're going with. I thought it was so funny when Gabriel lifted up his shirt to prove to Annalise that he didn't have a wire on, because of course she doesn't trust him. And Annalise, the bird flew out in her for a second. I saw it in her eyes. I'm like, really, Annalise? Really? Anyway, she's talking to Bonnie and Nate, because both of them are in agreement that, hey, after we find out that Miller is using Gabriel to try and get information, oh no, Miller can't be trusted. See, that was the link. And Bonnie and Annalise are having this crazy back and forth, because one side is like, see, how do we know if we can even trust Gabriel? And, why don't we just go and pin it on him? Annalise is like, don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. But that's what everyone felt like. Why don't we just pin this on Gabriel and call it a day? Annalise feels very guilty and responsible. She feels guilty and responsible for everyone. Speaking of that, now we see Tegan talking to the feds, and Tegan, like I figured, was talking to the feds because of her connection with taking down Laurel's father, Mr. Castile. And this fed said, by the way, Annalise, we're looking into her, but we're not looking into her. Just, if you notice anything, let me know. And so now the rest of the Keating 5 is there, and they're going to help out Gabriel. They're trying to establish a case, and it looks like they're going to try and do a wrongful accusation. And Annalise asks Gabriel, tell me everything. I need to know everything about you. Unfortunately, all of that didn't matter, because now they go straight to, apparently Gabriel was caught up in one of the Ferguson riots, and we see him throwing, it looks like he probably took the tear gas that was thrown at them, and he threw it back at the police. And so they're trying to call him a domestic terrorist. I'm thinking, really? With $1 million bomb? I said, oh my god. Oh my gosh. This can't be life right now. This cannot be life right now. Frank is kind of watching over Nate, because Frank understands what it's like to obsess and to kill someone. And so Nate is clearly trying to find a link between the governor and Miller. So they have his phone records. They have them more in detail, because Annalise gave up all of her Annalise got Gabriel to give up all of his passwords, to tell her everything he knows about this whole Miller situation, and she needs to establish a rebuttal for him. That's going to be really difficult, but this team can do it. We also need to figure out how are we going to handle Tegan, because now Tegan knows that something's going on. She at the very least knows that we lied to her, but she doesn't know why. Michaela says that she has it. So she goes to Tegan. Tegan was over it, like, oh, this woman. But Michaela initially is able to, hold on. Now, Michaela was able to convince Tegan that, hey, the real reason why we didn't, want you to pursue the whole Nate thing, or that we shouldn't have done that, is because, yeah, there is something you need to know. They're investigating Nate, and it's not what you think. It's because Nate's father could have possibly been killed by Miller setting it up in connection with the governor. And Tegan said, oh, so that's why, we didn't want you to jump the gun. And Tegan said, all right, I can understand that. Is that all? Well, yes. As soon as Michaela lies again, that's when Emmett comes in and says, so are either of you going to explain to me why is it that Annalise, one of her students, is brought up on charges for domestic terrorism? Tegan looking at Michaela like, so this is how our relationship's going to be? Because I can never trust you again. Back at the house, Oliver is looking through the wedding photos, and he's doing it because he wants to make sure that there's no photos that has him and, that has Nate and Miller together. That's going to be very important. We move on because Laurel, nosy Laurel, she is good at her job. Oh, as annoying as she is good at her job. Now, originally they were supposed to be looking at the text messages from 2014 when the whole Ferguson stuff was happening. But Laurel, being nosy, went and looked at the ones from 2018 and realized, wait a minute, dude, who is this person you're talking to? And, who are you giving information to? What's going on? Were you talking about Annalise? No, he was talking about Michaela. And he proves it by talking to his mom on the phone. Annalise called her, he picked up, and it seemed to be true. I thought, oh, this would be cute if you weren't Sam's son and Michaela was Michaela. I mean, she looks good, but she's just cuckoo in the head. Oh, she needs to go back to therapy. They all do. All of them. Mandatory. Now we have Bonnie doing her own snooping, and she's talking to Miller's assistant, trying to see, hey, there was this name from the governor's office that maybe you would know. You would know his connection there. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know. And then the assistant gets a call from Miller's mom. Because remember, right now, Miller isn't reported dead. He's just reported missing. That's also going to be important. Frank was trying to help Nate blind call people to see if the phone numbers checked out, and so far nothing. So Frank's gonna leave, but he gives Nate this weird pep talk, this killer to killer pep talk of, I know that it's gonna be a lot to process, but you're going to have to process and deal with it at some point. You're gonna have to process and deal with the fact that what you did is what you did. You had your reasons. You're a killer. Own it. I'm thinking, what? That's basically the pep talk that he gave. I said, what? What type of pep talk is... Okay. Bonnie meets Miller's mom. She goes over to her house, and Miller's mom's really nice, and, Bonnie asks about, hey, is there a connection with this woman at the this person at the governor's office? Has he ever said anything? And she was like, no, actually, there was one thing about the governor's office. I don't remember exactly what it was. Let me see. Oh, okay. The only thing was when she was taking money from the opioid company. I'm thinking, everything that this show says is important. So keep that in mind for later on. Now, Bonnie starts feeling really bad because, his mom talks about how, did he propose to you, and let you know that he wanted to marry you, and what would you have said? And she's just like, no, I didn't know. I'm thinking, oh God, you stop talking. You're going to make Bonnie want to go and off herself again. Stop it. Stop it. Now, the Fed agent is talking to Gabriel again and wants to know, will you cooperate? You weren't feeling us the first time. Will you cooperate? We'll give you immunity, because originally she said she would drop the charges. Well, they can bring them up on separate charges later on. Will you give me immunity? And she said, I'll think about it depending on what you're willing to spill. And he said, look, I don't... He does know something. He knows something, but he's trying to keep it close to the chest, close to the chest, close to the vest as much as possible. But he wants to think about it, which is good, because that's going to be important. Now we see that that same agent calls Tegan and tells Tegan, hey, just let me know if you notice anything fishy with Annalise. It could really help. Your anonymity is secure. Don't worry about that, okay? She's like, okay. I'm looking at her phone like, oh, just leave me alone. I like Annalise. Now, Emmett, he's going and talking to Annalise and saying that he has an idea. He wants to help out. Why don't we go and do a big press conference? And she's like, no, we can't do that. Remember, he doesn't want his mother to know about this. He doesn't want to stress her out. He doesn't want to concern her because she's just gone through so much already. Michaela keeps calling Annalise, and Annalise keeps ignoring it because she's in this meeting with her boss. And she told her boss, don't help me out. You know what you can do? Don't help me out. So now Annalise comes back to the house, and Michaela comes up with this evil... Michaela is so twisted. With this evil idea of, let's scare the one person that's shown true loyalty to Annalise and doesn't really know her, Tegan. Let's go and send a blind email saying, hi, Jane Doe. Because remember, Tegan was the one who testified and put Mr. Castile in jail. And Annalise is weighing it in her mind. Oliver says that, no, they won't be able to trace it back to us. Or basically, they won't be able to trace it back to us. And they do it. And I was pissed because Tegan looked so scared. And she was just looking outside of her office like, who knows? Who knows? Who's smiling in my face, replying behind me this entire time? Who knows? And the whole point is to scare her to not work with the FBI lady, because they are keeping tabs on her, so they know that she's been in contact and that she was the Jane Doe. To begin with. Oh, gosh. Oh, this is going to blow up in their face. I know it. This will blow up in their face. Blow up. Kaboom. Guess who stepped in? Anyway. Frank comes home and he sees Bonnie. And Bonnie, he sees that, oh, Bonnie's been in communications with Sheila, who is Miller's mom. And he said, leave that alone. Leave it alone. Bonbon. Leave it alone. It's done. It's over with. We're trying to figure out what's going on with him. Don't stress yourself out. And she's just like, look, I'm going to do whatever I do. And he hugs her, and they both look concerned, like, I don't know how this is going to end. Oliver is still looking at the pictures because, again, trying to figure out, is there any picture that connects the two of them at the wedding? Any picture, any picture, any picture. Well, while all of that is going on, Michaela finds out that Gabriel was actually reaching out to his mom and telling his mom about Michaela and that he really likes her. And of course, Michaela got that twinkle in her eye like we all knew she would. Like we all knew she would as soon as she heard that. And she tried to play it off, but we're not stupid. We're not stupid. We're not gullible, but she is gullible. That's why no one wanted to tell her. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Now, because they're still spying on him, they have this idea and they give it to Annalise. Why don't they go and see when the day that the feds raided his place, just make sure that everything was done correctly. It was not. So when it's time for court, Gabriel is shocked because he's trying to figure out, why is there surveillance? But, Annalise tells him to be cool. This will help. And the feds, at first I thought that maybe they staged it. They did stage it. The feds staged it, but I thought that the group staged it. But which wouldn't have made sense. The feds actually had one person there who planted the mask that he was supposedly wearing at the Ferguson riots. And I think it was no justice, no peace. And the feds had to drop the case, or else they could have had a discrimination, lawsuit. And that is the last thing they want. With valid evidence? Are you kidding me? So now Gabriel's upset. Oh, so y'all are watching me? Y'all all were watching me? You were all in on it? Laurel said no. They didn't know as long as I did. And the whole point is we couldn't trust you, clearly. Just like how you say you can't trust us, we couldn't trust you. Michaela reminded Annalise that the Tegan thing, I'll go and double check and everything, but it looks like it's being handled. And I said, Michaela just wants to be appreciated and loved so bad. It's scary. It is scary. She did not get that growing up. It's clear. I love Tegan and Emmett's back and forth banter regarding Annalise and how both of them like Annalise, but neither of them are trying to make it seem like they like Annalise. And Emmett says, why don't we go out for drinks? Why don't we hang out? And Tegan was like, you know what, boss? I'm going to be polite and not say no, but I'm going to say that I'm pretty busy. Which she is. Now, he got a call from IT, and it was regarding the Tegan email, which is really bad. Really bad. Now we have an option. Apparently, Nate found out, and he called Frank and Bonnie. They were there too. But they brought Annalise along to Nate's apartment to let her know that we have a lead. Miller called. It sounds like Miller was the one who actually called and got the information about Annalise trying to adopt Wes and gave it to the governor. It's like 50 degrees of separation. It was just so much going on. And so they're going to try and link Miller to the governor that way to try and go after Annalise unjustly. But here's the problem. Annalise gets pissed and she does this monologue of how all of you just take from me. All of you just take from me. All of you are killers. Each and every last one of you are killers. And I'm just here to clean up. I am the maid. I said, I'm glad she said it because a lot of us felt that way. She is the maid. She has to do the dirty work. She has to go and just deal with it. Deal with everything that people are doing to her. And it is messed up because think about it. If Annalise goes and acknowledges this and this is the plan that they use, that means that Annalise could be brought up on charges regarding Wes because there will be some collusion. Wes was the kid that Annalise was trying to adopt. So if Wes was the kid that Annalise was trying to adopt and Wes ended up killing her husband, A plus B equals C. As far as the law is concerned, as far as the jury's concerned. So now Gabriel's upset that they were watching him, as I previously said, and he was just like, I'm just here because I want to know my father. What happened to him? I want to know more about him. After that, he goes and talks to Annalise. Annalise says, hey, I need for you to trust me. I need for you to trust me, and here's what I'll do. I'll make it easier for you. You were working with Miller, who was trying to look into potentially the case again. But here's the thing. Miller can't be trusted. Miller was trying to get dirt on me using you, and to make matters worse, that dirt involved Wes, the man who killed your father. The man who killed your father, I tried to adopt him when he was younger. And so now it's kind of the whole thing of, hey, I'm telling you this because this could screw me over, but I'm trusting you with this so that you can trust me. There's the rest of the Keating Five are looking through the pictures. They wanted to leave certain pictures, like the one with Asher and Connor's mom, as well as Laurel with Bonnie's baby. Everything seems to be going well enough, and Annalise is going to try and convince Gabriel, hey, And I know they're going to try and give you a deal. Why don't you work with me instead? So Gabriel, and I knew that something was up because Gabriel, he wants immunity. He wants immunity, and he's agreeing to give information. He's giving the information that, hey, I was working with DA Miller, right? Or Interim Miller, DA. And he wanted information on Annalise. I found out that he got something. And it was that Annalise was trying to adopt Wes. At this point, it's just better if it comes out now than later on. So it was a power move, giving them something very credible and that could link her. And that's not something she wanted to do. But again, Annalise, she's always the defender and protector, even to the very end. So she was willing to take that hit if it meant, hey, we can put the focus back on the governor. And so how he spun it was that he doesn't suspect Annalise. He suspects that, you know, the governor took out Miller because this woman by the name of Lynn, I heard him on the phone with a woman named Lynn once, and it was regarding the adoption stuff. And that was his smart way of linking the two together. I said, oh, Annalise, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gowns. So now Annalise's boss, they have a quick pep talk again, and he was like, hey, Tegan, just watch out for her. I mean, watch out. Let me know if you notice anything. She was like, yeah, of course, boss. All good. But I would trust her because she knew the information about your misconduct. And she never said anything. She never used it against you. Realizing that, oh, Annalise and Tegan are closer than I thought, her boss calls IT and said, I need you to also give me access to Annalise's email. I said, oh no, Annalise is smart, so she's not going to leave breadcrumbs in there. Michaela shows up to Gabriel's apartment. It was weird being back in Wes's apartment. It looked nicer now than what it used to. I did notice that. But she takes out the spy cam and she doesn't apologize because there's no need to really apologize. But she was just like, so you really talked to your mom about me? Okay. I know that there's going to be a budding relationship there. I said, Michaela, just don't get caught up. We cannot have you spilling any more information. Period. Now we have Nate and Bonnie. At this point, it's now time to, have the body show up. We see that the feds have this huge board. I forgot what it's called. Where they have main peoples of interest and then everyone else that's attached to them. I forgot. It's like something web. I forgot what the term is. But it was linking Annalise to Bonnie, Nate, to Sam, and to all the rest of the King 5, to Wes. It had everyone. The governor. It's crazy. But now it's this, free fall because the information comes out that Miller's body was found. Annalise is trying to warn Tegan that, hey, you're being watched. Be careful. She said, right back at you. And shows that Miller's body was found. Annalise had that look of, oh God, I can't do this. The rest of the King 5, they are just like, okay, the body was found. Cool, we should be okay. No, we shouldn't. Because the episode ends with, it looks like Asher was still following Connor's mom. Lord knows why. And Asher sees that she posted a picture of those two at the wedding, but it also included Nate and Miller in the back. And it didn't look too cordial. And everyone's being watched. So now it's like, oh no. Thankfully, hopefully it doesn't circulate enough, but they need to get her to delete it quick. So that's it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Come back next week. Oh yeah, my Big Brother recap will be up today and tomorrow. Thank you.